There is always a way to be the hands and feet of Jesus, whether it be the EPS, the Christmas Eve dinner, helping with backpack buddies, working at the food pantry, taking meals to people who need them. And these are just a few, and the ones I have participated in. I love that this church wishes to serve the community. XOXO, Lucy.
We are Grace and Richard Jingles. We started going to this church in 1969, so we have been members here for a third of the life of the church. When I think of how this church has served our family as a catalyst for spiritual growth, I am reminded of the people in the church. When we started going to church here, we were the youngsters, and I was able to witness the stewardship of the life of many fine people. I think of people like Ralph Petrangelo, who flew a bomber in World War II. I think of people like Jack Notter, who was a 17-year-old Marine, was fighting his way across the Pacific Islands when I was born. And I think of people about Herb Bailey. I think about people like him. Herb flew a glider in World War II. Can you imagine flying an airplane without a motor, made of wood, over enemy territory? And we watch these people come home and build their lives and serve their church. They had raised their families, and we benefited from the stewardship of their lives. And this has been an important part of the stewardship of our life. And this church has benefited that. Grace, what do you have to say?
Well, some people talk about they don't have to go to church to worship. They can worship out in nature. But I have found that being in the church setting, particularly this sanctuary, makes me worship a lot more than just being outside in nature. And I think that Jesus indicated that people should worship together. Where two or more are gathered in His name, we can worship together. But the support of the people in this church have helped in my spiritual journey. Things like the ladies' Bible study, which I hate to say forces me to read the Bible more than I might normally do, and the Sunday school class where we discuss things, and the encouragement that you get from people in the church. Also in doing ministries, we have so many ministries in this church that, and I feel like when we do a ministry like Side by Side, doing the rummage sale as of this week, where we support ministries not just in this church but in other areas in the community and the world, that when we do a ministry with a church, we are expressing to people God's love more than if you do a ministry in a non-church type setting. So the encouragement of all of our members working together as a body using our different talents is what is a catalyst in our Christian faith.
My name is Kevin Bishop. I have been part of First Methodist Church for almost 25 years now here in Long Beach. The church is a catalyst for my faith, has honestly probably been stability. I grew up a Methodist. I grew up over in Pascagoula, not far from here. Been involved with Methodist churches there and across the state. Never joined another Methodist church until I came to Long Beach. And the reason for that was Pascagoula was always home. And then when I came to Long Beach with Marcia, I realized that Long Beach was home and this church was home, and it opened its arms to me. It knew Marcia, who had a past within the church, but they opened their arms to me as well. And from there, it has been stability for me. I've had a job where I've traveled, I'm away from home, I'm away from my church, away from my family, but I can always easily step back in and have the love of God, the love of Jesus through the members of this church just wrap their arms around me and welcome me home. I've always been appreciative of that, and it has been everything that I've needed to move forward in my faith. I've grown in ways I've never knew was possible. I've been involved and seen and had opportunities to do things that have grown my faith. We have helped numerous communities who have had disasters. Those communities in turn have come to us and helped us in our time of need, and you get to see the love of God and Jesus moving in the community, and I've seen it through this church, and I am appreciative and I am honored to be part of it, and I'm very proud that this church has been around for 150 years. From the time it sat on the railroad tracks in a boxcar to now. I'm very appreciative for that.
My name is Suzanne Russell Simmons. My parents and I moved to Long Beach when I had just turned 14 years old, and we had been told that the Methodist Church in Long Beach had a wonderful minister, so we decided to come and try it out, and we loved it here, my parents and I both. And I think the biggest thing that influenced me during that time was the Methodist Youth Fellowship. It was a very good group of people that were around my age. They were very active in everything. In fact, people used to laugh and say, every time the doors are open, the youth are here, and we were. We were so active in so many different things. And I think the adults that were our leaders at that time, and the friends that I made at that time, influenced my faith journey and made me closer to God and made me close to those people that were God-like also. And I have been a member of this church for a very long time. I love this church, and I appreciate all the ministers that we've had in the past and the one that we have now, because they have really shown the way for me in my journey.
So what has this church meant to me in the catalyst of my faith and growing as a Christian? It has meant everything. Prior to me coming to this church, I was not a regular church going, especially in my naval career of 24 years. I didn't go to church. It was very seldom I did. When I married my wife, and my wife said, hey, we need to find a church. I was very, I was like, I don't want to do that. But God said, you need to follow your wife and get in that church. And this church has meant everything to me. My faith has grown exponentially. My wife was baptized here. I was baptized here. And I have my daughter Charlie, and hopefully one day she'll be baptized, whether we're not here or somewhere else. But without this church, I don't know where I would be in my walk with God. I really don't. Thank you.
It is hard for me to find the right words to fully convey what our church means to me and how much the people of this community have been a part of my faith journey. The members of this church have shepherded me since I was a small child. I learned what I believe about God at this church, and now I get to help kids and teenagers do the same. I get to equip people to lead and serve. I get to watch people live out their faith through our church. The people here have been with me and with my family through every major high and low in my adult life and are with me still. I will be forever thankful for the people of First Methodist Church. XOXO, Lori.
Hi, my name is Amy Halsey, and I became a member of this church in the 90s. I transferred my membership from North Mississippi, and this church has always been a faith journey for me in lots of ways. I feel like we walk side by side with other Christians, and we live in community here. And it doesn't just end on Sunday morning messages, it's throughout the year. I've been involved in such things as Vacation Bible School, Backpack Buddies, Mosaic, which we started after Hurricane Katrina, with the youth, with Big Stuff, with Christmas Eve lunch, things like that along the way. It's easy to get involved here, it's easy to serve, it's easy to be served, and that helps your faith journey grow. Get involved with a community group, get involved with other Christians, and walk side by side throughout this journey that our faith is growing with. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Roots. I've been a member of First Methodist Church in Long Beach since January 2018. My wife and I's journey to here started probably Christmas of 2015. We were actually on our way to Fairhope, Alabama to put a contract on a piece of property, and we decided let's see what's here in Biloxi and Gulfport. And we found a piece of property, and we felt led to purchase it and build on it. We went to every Methodist church in Gulfport when we first got here in June of 2017, and just none of them seemed to fit. So we traveled down Beach Boulevard and came to this church. And immediately, as soon as we walked in the door, we were warmly welcomed and felt this is where the Holy Spirit was leading us. And ever since we've joined, I've seen the Spirit move, and it's confirmed everything. This is the moment that I should be here. The skill sets that I've developed over a lifetime have been used. And in serving the church, I've gotten to get into the files, the paperwork, and the history. And this church has such a rich, rich history of serving the Lord, and not only the Lord, but this community. So it's been a blessing. Thank you.
Hey y'all, I'm Marcia Bishop, and I've been going to the church for most of my life here in Long Beach. Definitely grew up here. The things that were a catalyst in my faith include Sunday school teachers who spoke into my life about the impact Jesus had on me, on history, on our church. That stands out. Youth group experiences with amazing worship and small group opportunities growing up here definitely impacted my life in a positive way and helped me grow my faith. As I grew up and moved away, came back with my husband, and we had moved here to Long Beach to live in this community and go to this church. And so we raised our children here. From the times of standing in the back holding a crying baby, wondering if I would ever get to actually sit through worship, to volunteering in children's ministry and youth ministry and hosting wherever they could fit me in, I have always loved to serve. Things like Mosaic were a huge impact on me. Where just seeing what God could do when we step back and let Him take over, that was a tremendous impact on me. And also in the last 10 or so years at the Well, learning more about worship. Being on the praise band and helping plan worship and working on that team has really grown my faith and helped me learn about community and just the everyday walking of Jesus in my life, but also just keeping my heart prepared for worship. Emily and Ben, the words they use and how they teach us has had a tremendous impact on my life, as well as Lori's continued commitment to making sure our church is a place that is welcoming to everyone that walks in the door, children, youth, adults, no matter where you're coming from. So I just thank you for the opportunity to continue to be here.
I'm Christy Tate.
I'm Mike Tate. My family and I moved here, it's coming up on 4 years ago, and as far as my faith journey with this particular church, I would say the biggest thing is the ability to just plug right in. We showed up here, kind of didn't really know anybody, and found a very welcoming atmosphere here.
And the church has been a catalyst for me in helping delve deeper into God's Word by giving me opportunities such as Bible study on Tuesday morning, discipleship group on Sunday morning, praise and worship, walking through the Bible on Sunday afternoon, giving me opportunities to put my love of the Lord into action at church by opportunities like volunteering at Side by Side or Vacation Bible School and different mission opportunities that the church has available.
And we're given some pretty good opportunities to plug in. I think the first one I recall is working with my daughter's youth group, painting lines out in the parking lot, which sounds like drudgerous work, but it was really a fun morning, and kind of got to know more people. And it was probably a year afterwards I got a call saying, we need someone to fill in on the trustees board. And I went ahead and took that plunge, and I've been on the board of trustees since, and that's given me a great opportunity to find areas to plug in.
And just being able to be in a community with lots of people that love the Lord and are walking this same walk of getting closer to the Lord.
I'm Jenny Gates. Aaron and I started going to this church about 10 years ago, right after we had Timothy. And we had some past experiences that I was a little hesitant to dig in and get invested in people and plant roots here. And so when I first started coming, I was a little secluded, and I wasn't very eager to make friends. And I gradually overcame that and got to know some of the people here. And it's just the most amazing group of people. It's a group of people that love you where you're at. There were no pretenses. There was no holding each other at arm's reach. I started getting involved in a couple of discipleship groups, a couple of prayer groups here and there, and got more and more plugged in. And people loved me exactly where I was. And I am a completely different person, especially in my walk with God now, not only because of the things that I've learned through the sermons and the things that I've learned through the Bible studies, but also because my relationship with God is so much deeper and richer. And a huge part of that is the way that I was loved through the people in this church. And they loved me then, and they love me now, even though I'm at completely different stages of my life. And I'm so grateful that I took that risk to get to know people and put in roots. And I can't imagine what our lives would be like without this group of people. And I'm so grateful for every single one of you.
After Bob and I moved to Long Beach, a neighbor, Wanda Stevens, invited us to attend church with her. Hard to believe, but the minute I walked into this church, I felt at home. Our church is so warm and loving, how could you not love it? So after several months of attending, we became members. Each day, for 20 years, I still feel that same love, and my faith is deeper because of this church. When you are surrounded by people of faith, your faith grows. The older I get, my faith continues to grow and my life becomes more contented. I am so blessed to be part of the First Methodist Church of Long Beach. XOXO, Carolyn.
I'm Peggy Powell.
And I'm Kathy Broadway, and we're co-coordinators of First Methodist Church newest ministry, Side by Side Respite.
This program has been in existence for a little over 2 years. It was a result of John Kaufman's idea, and he stimulated it, and we got kind of sidetracked with COVID, but after COVID was resolved, we were able to get it started, and now we have usually 12 friends, maybe more than that now, that we visit with every Wednesday.
And this has been a wonderful ministry. When we began, our goal was to be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ to those who were experiencing memory loss and other age-related situations. And it has been a true delight and a true joy. The community has embraced us. Our volunteers show up week after week after week because they love it, and we love the joy and the laughter, not only for our friends, but for the volunteers also.
Yeah, we receive as much from our friends as we give to them. It's just a wonderful opportunity to share God's love and just enjoy ourselves and enjoy them and let them just have some time where they can just relax and have fun.
And to be able to share joy with those who don't have a lot of joy in their lives is wonderful. The caregivers need the respite, the break from 10 to 2, and they know that we're caring for their loved ones and that we're loving on their loved ones. And this ministry has enhanced my faith 2,000%, and I am so blessed to have been able to be a part and to continue to be a part. It's as much a blessing to me as it is to them.
And I can't wait for Wednesdays to get here so we can come and share with our friends. It's just an amazing experience.
Really, what I see as my catalyst to my faith journey in this church is the mission work that they have done. I mean, even if you look around right now with everything that's going on in the CLC, all of the women working for the rummage sale, and all of that money goes to missions throughout the Gulf Coast and overseas. And one thing that really helped me in my faith journey when I first moved here was Mosaic. We moved here from Tennessee, and when we were in Tennessee, the church that we were at had a mission every summer that the youth did and went and helped fix homes in that area. And so the first 2 summers that I was here, my children wanted to go back up for that. So I gathered some of the youth from here, and a group of us went up to Dixon and did that mission work. Well, then when Katrina hit in 2005, that group came up to me shortly after Katrina and said, "Are we going to be able to go to Dixon this year?" And I said, "I really think we probably need to do something here." And so that was kind of the start. And then within 2 weeks, Ben came up to me and said that he was looking at starting a mission to work on homes here after Katrina. And so we started working on some kind of plan to go out and help people in this area that were hurting. The end result of that was Mosaic. And I felt that God placed me here for that because I did have experience in Dixon, Tennessee with that mission group, and we used a lot of the same basis to do Mosaic here. We did Mosaic for 5 years. At least 5 years, I can't remember exactly, and helped so many people in this area, and it really did help me grow my faith.
Mike and I both grew up in the Methodist Church. We have moved quite a bit in our married life. In all of our moves, we have found the church home with many opportunities to be active. When we moved here in 2008, we found our church family at First United Methodist Church, Long Beach. Mike and I have been blessed to continue our church involvement together and individually. Our faith journeys have been strengthened and broadened with our friends at this church. Through worship services, Sunday school, church ministries, and outreach opportunities, we have found new ways to serve our Lord. Mike has continued his many years of singing in the chancel choir. At this church, he has been more active in Methodist Men. He has participated in preparation for the Brummage Cell and has served communion. I have found opportunities to be active in creative ministries, Brummage Cell, First Methodist Women, the Trustees Committee, Side by Side, and Backpack Buddies. We continue to build relationships with our church family. We look forward to future opportunities to serve others in our faith journey. XOXO, Mike and Bay.
Hi, my name is Jennifer McKenzie. We've been going to the Well for about 10 years now. This church has been a catalyst in my faith. First we started going just to find out more about God. I didn't grow up in a church, so we wanted to find something that was welcoming and that had a lot of information about who God was and what He could do for us. So we started going to the Well. We came one Sunday and we never left. And this church has taught us so much about God's love and how we should live our lives. And it has given us so much more than just a community. It has been our family. through the birth of our children. Christopher and I got baptized in this church, and our daughter got baptized in this church. We have just grown in our faith so much through the connections that we have made through the people and through the music that Christopher and I help produce every Sunday. Everything that we do here is for God, and we have just learned so much through Ben. He has taught us how to live our life in loving Jesus. And through that teaching and through the community and through the new family that we have created, we have the opportunity to go out and share that love with everybody else in the community of not only Long Beach, but the world. And we can also grow our children up in love through Jesus' love and through God's love.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Pheasant. I've been going to the well since I was 13 years old, and I turned 24 tomorrow, so about 10, 11 years. Speaking on relationships, one of the relationships that has really helped me in fostering my journey with my faith is actually the Well Band, more specifically Jennifer McKenzie. I started the band when I was 16 years old, and I was going through the motions of being a Christian, I guess. I was just kind of showing up, reading the Bible on occasion, not really developing a relationship with anybody in my church or even with Jesus for that matter. And I remember there was one night where I would always have, Jennifer and Chris would always pick me up, bring me home for band practice, for church sometimes even. They were always there, and I was having a really awful night. No one was home. I was having a very immense panic attack, and I kid you not, it was midnight. Jennifer drove to my house, picked me up. I think I was 17 or 18 at that point. We talked and talked about our faith, about life, about what was bothering me for hours on end until about 4 in the morning, and we both still had to go up and sing on stage at church the next day. Having someone care about me that deeply helped me realize that my Father is someone who also cares about me that deeply. If his followers have that same example for their love for others, then I realized that I wanted to accept that from him, and I wanted to be that for other people. And so she's really helped me feel the love and be able to give it to others.
So my name's Terry Hall. What attracted me to this church was how real the people seemed. They were flawed like me. They had the same questions I had, but they seemed to genuinely care for one another and the community, and watching the way they were called into action and would serve and help out in the community and one another just appealed to me. And I kept coming back and learning and growing, and finally surrendered my life and my will over to Christ Jesus.
I am Marcia French. I was Marcia Randall French, and I've been a part of Long Beach Methodist Church since I was a little girl. Actually, I should say Long Beach Methodist Church has been a part of me since I was a little girl, because I can't remember when I wasn't involved here and being taken care of here, going back as far as I can remember, starting with Sunday school, Bible school, Camp Wesley Pines, MYF, because that's what we used to call youth group, Methodist Youth Fellowship. So I had about as much of a spiritual reinforcement from this church as one could possibly get. So they sent me off into the world rather prepared, and so I felt like as I got to be me, it was because of what this church gave me early on in my childhood. Then later in my life, more recently, as my husband was ill and I was a caregiver for him for 7 years, this church once again took care of me. They supported me and prayed for me and loved me and kept me upright, and just made me get through that ordeal a little more sane than I would have otherwise. So I feel a strong sense of love and obligation to this church, and I need to give back. I want to give back. I love giving back, and Long Beach First Methodist Church was the first church in Long Beach, and as far as I'm concerned, they're still the first church in Long Beach.